In this presentation, we're going to set up a bank rule for our bank feeds. We're going to have a situation where we have one customer that we're going to make deposits from. However, we have two different income accounts we want them to be posted to based on different activities or different types of deposits. So here we go with Xero. Here we are on our Triple G dashboard. We're going to start off by opening up some reports. That's going to be the income statement this time. We're going to go to the accounting dropdown and go on down to our income statement. So we're going to go on down to the income statement. Once that opens up, then we're going to duplicate the tab up top. I'm going to go to that tab up top, right click on it, duplicating that tab. We're going to be working in the month of May this time, so I'm going to be adjusting the beginning date to May. So I'm going to bring this up to May 1st, and there we have it. And there's nothing after May, so that's going to be it. We have just a few transactions, these being the ones from the credit card that was after that point in time in May. So now we're going to go back up to the first tab. We're going to go to the accounting dropdown, and let's open our bank accounts now. So we're considering our banking information. We're going to be taking a look at the bank feeds. We now have those 39 transactions. So we want to pick those up. I'm going to go into those reconciling of those transactions. Now we're going to pick and choose a couple transactions where we might have some information that will allow us to go and make bank feeds and a bit more complex on the bank feeds here. So we've done one bank feed in the past where really what you're doing on most of the bank feeds is just going to be saying, hey, if there's a suggestion that comes up, let's make that formal and put that suggestion into basically a rule. And I would suggest doing that because that'll give you kind of a little bit more assurance than the suggestions. And then we have some more complex rules that we could be adding here as well. So one way you could get to the rules, if I go to the manage transactions here, then we go to the reconcile and you see the bank rules. So we have the bank rules. And if we go into the bank rules, we see that we have one rule that was set up that we set up for Edison. And we set this as the basic kind of rule. This is a rule that basically the system would pick up probably as just something that it would suggest. And then you can go in and make a normal rule from it. And when you do, you want to make it pretty broad usually. You want to make it a broader rule to make it sure that it picks up Edison so maybe not within the description contains rather than equals will be a more broad rule. So every time it contains Edison, you pick it up. An existing new contact, we're gonna have Edison. It's going to be the contact information, and then the account that it's going to be going to, which is going to be the utility account. So again, this is a fairly straightforward type of rule that probably would have shown up as a suggestion, but notice it's nice here to see it in the rules because then you can adjust it if there's any kind of more complications that you need to have into the rules. Whereas the suggestions are just suggestions; there's no formal place where you can go and take a look at those items related to them. Then I'm going to go back to the bank accounts up here in the cookie trail. So I'm going to go back to the bank accounts and I'm going to take a look at those 39 transactions again. I'm going to go into the 39 transactions. Now I'm going to look at our data and consider what other type of rules we want. So I'm going to look at the bank feed data here to get a better idea of just what we're dealing with. I'm going to make this a little bit larger. I'm going to sort this data again. So I'm going to highlight from A to C. I'm going to go to the data tab up top in Excel and I'm going to add the filters. I'm going to filter the data here. And then I'm going to sort this data once again by description. So I'm going to sort by description. And we're going to be considering here then these Amazon payments. Now we're assuming that we do some kind of marketing for Amazon or we work with Amazon. We get paid. These are deposits that we're getting from Amazon. And so we have deposits from Amazon EU. And then other deposits down here for other Amazon, something else Amazon, right? Let's assume that we know what those differences are. Then we can say, well, since it doesn't just say Amazon, it says Amazon Media, so maybe that's Amazon Prime or something like that we're making money on. We put videos on Amazon Prime maybe, versus Amazon down here, which maybe is a affiliate marketing or something like that, right? And if I want to break those out to two different income accounts on the income statement, one going to like Prime or something like that, and the other to affiliate marketing income, then I could do so because Amazon gives me more detail within the description than just the name Amazon that's giving us the money. So to do that, then we could use this to set up a rule. So now let's go into the system. Now the best way, or usually when you set up a rule, is you're going to find one of the transactions here and then use it to help you to basically build the rule. So here's one with Amazon.com. So I'm going to say, all right, let me see if I can set up a rule using this information to help me populate the rule. So I'm going to go to options. I'm going to create the rule. So options, create a rule from this information. Now the rule that's going to be created is going to be taken from the data, and it's usually more strict or stringent than we typically want, right? So this is going to be money coming in because this is a deposit. So it's going to be a rule related to receive money. When money received on the bank statement matches, does it need to match all of the following conditions? Or does it need to match just basically any of the conditions? So either or. In our case, I'm going to say all, but I'm going to remove one of the conditions. The payee here is blank. That condition doesn't really apply. We don't need that condition. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that. And so that's not one of the conditions that we need by just Xing that out. And then in the description equals this amount or contains this. Most of the time, you probably want contain, a broader spectrum. I don't need it to say this entire thing exactly. It might work fine, and you may want that to be a more stringent rule, and that might be good. But what I need for this to differentiate is really just the Amazon.co versus the Amazon over here where I have Amazon Media. So the Amazon.co I'm going to assume is like affiliate commissions maybe. And so then I'm going to go down and say that the set the contact, and existing or new contact. Now here you have the option of setting up the same vendor, basically contact for the two, or you might want to differentiate the vendor. In other words, you might say, hey, this is all Amazon, and you put Amazon in this field and the second field and differentiate the rule based on the differentiation in the text up top. So I could just put Amazon here for both, or you might want to set up a distinct vendor for Amazon, meaning even though it's both Amazon, you got an Amazon vendor, a different contact information. So it depends how you want to run the reports and whatnot. So it might be easier to see if you actually have two, in this, I keep saying vendors, but customers down here. This would be a customer because it's money coming in. It might be easier to see to have a separate customer contact and run a report by a separate customer contact, even though both deposits are coming from Amazon. So automatically allocate fixed value to line items. So if we're going to pull out a fixed amount that comes out to one line, we can use that. With the main remainder, allocate items to the following ratio. So we're going to apply it 100% to one. If we had two accounts we needed to apply this to, then you can see how this would be applied as well. And I'm going to say this is going to be Amazon affiliate marketing. So I'm going to say that'll be the description, and then the account here, I'm going to have to add another account. I'm not going to, and I'll put it in the 410. I'm going to add a new account is going to be up top. I'm going to put it 410. And again, I'm going to put the same account name, affiliate marketing. The account type is going to be an income type of account because this is money coming in. So I'm going to say this is revenue, and we're going to put it into, let's say, sales. And so there we have it. And then I'll say save. So then we have the account set up, sales tax on it. We're not going to say sales tax is going to be 0. I'm not going to apply sales tax to it. And there we have the 100%. Set the reference. I'm going to say by me during the bank rec. So I'm going to keep that. Run this rule on Chase. And you could put it to all your accounts if you want to up top. So we're currently dealing with our checking account, which is the only account we have. It wouldn't apply to the credit card account because this is deposit coming in. And then give the rule a name. So you could call it this, and then maybe Amazon, the Amazon affiliate marketing as well. Now let's go ahead and save that. If we save that, then it should apply that rule out. So now if I go back down here, it says, okay, here's the bank side of things. Here's our side. It's going to create it. We're still making a transaction, but it's not a suggestion now. If I uncheck this suggestion item, it's still there. It doesn't remove this little suggestion. I'm going to put this back on. We have this suggestion, and it's a rule, and here's the name of the rule. We could go back and find that rule up top and go into the rule and take a look at it, but we just set up the rule, so it's going to create the transaction. If you want to see the details down here, then we could open up the details that are being applied by the rule. So let's go up top and add this now, or save the transaction, which is down here now. And then we're going to match this out. So I'm going to add that transaction. And then if I go into the income statement now and I update the income statement on the second tab, we should now see that new line item for the Amazon affiliate marketing in a new account. So there it is there. If I go back to the prior tab, and if there's any other ones with that same condition, the rule should now apply. So I went to the end instead of next. Let's go to next. Let's go to page 2. Page 2 of our 4 pages. And see if this applies out anywhere else, and we'll apply it out as we go. So scrolling down page 2, so here it is applying out our Amazon rule once again. So that looks good. It's applying the rule. We're going to say, yep, tie that one out. And then I'm going to go through this and see if we have any other items. I'm going to go next to the next page and scroll through this and see if this rule applies out. It's going to be for money received. So going down, so here's the rule applied out again. So that looks good, same, right? And this looks good, that's the same. So I'm gonna say, yep, apply that. And then if I go to next on the last page and scroll back down, no other items. So now I'm gonna go back to page 1 and let's take a look at the other rule that we had. So now we've done this one. This one we're gonna say media EU. Let's just say that's like Amazon Prime income, meaning like we put videos up on Amazon and they sell them and they give us like a commission, let's say. So we're going to say, all right, that's a different type of income from Amazon. So we're going to look through the deposits here and see if we can see deposits. This is, let's go next. And then I'm going to scroll down and we're looking for, here's Amazon, here it is. So Amazon Media. So I'm going to make another rule here. I'm going to hit the drop down and I'm going to make another rule, create a rule. And we'll take this as same Amazon vendor, but I'm able to create another rule. So once again, this is too stringent. I'm going to say all, but I don't need this blank item up top. I'm going to remove that. I don't need that. Description equals. I don't need it to equal it. It could, but I'm just going to go with contains. I need it to contain, and the main thing, it has to contain Amazon and then that EU. And that'll help us to distinguish it every time it comes up. The contact will be, you could keep on using Amazon, but I'm going to create another contact now, which is going to be, 2 contacts for Amazon, which are 2 like customers. Now automatically allocate value to a line. If there was one fixed amount we needed to pull out from the line and then allocate the rest somewhere else, we could do that with this line item. And then we can allocate per percentage down here. So I'm going to put the description of that, and then I'm going to have to set up a new account. So I'm going to set up the account. Up top, it's going to be a revenue. I'm going to call it 415. So I'm going to go up top. Whoop, scrolled way too hard. Up top, I'm going to call it 415. 415. And this is going to be Amazon like Prime income, let's say. And this is going to be an income account. So I'm going to make this an income account. Sales once again. And we will save that. So that's it. We're going to keep this here. It's going to be for the Chase checking account. And then you can name the rule. So that's going to be the name of the vendor is here, as well as I'll call it the Amazon Prime income. So I'm going to save that. And then it should apply that rule out. So now we've got the same customer, but basically applying out 2 different rules to it. So this one should apply. I'm going to say, okay, it's applying this rule out. It's going to create the transaction. Then it hits same thing here. So I'm going to say that looks good and see if this applies out anywhere else down below. So I'll then say next, or we're already on page 2. So, well, it's thinking here. So I did something, went somewhere, and I'll go back down. Here's one. Let's apply that out. I'll say okay. And then here's another one. Wow. They're doing good here. All right. So there are those. Now, if we go back to the income statement, then update the income statement. Now those are going to be included in transactions here as well. Obviously, the other side would be on the balance side and the balance sheet increase in the checking account. These are the 2 accounts we have now included in the income statement now. If I go back to the first tab and we go like up top now and go to the manage account, then we have the rules. We want to take a look at the bank rules within here. Now we have the spend money rules. We have the receive money rules. So we just did a rule for receiving money, or 2 rules. And there are our 2 rules. So if there's any problem with them, we can go back in here. We can make them more broad or more stringent as things change in the future. So this is a nice feature. The rules are nice that you can go in and you can really set the settings of what should happen, as opposed to the suggestions, which are kind of, you can't see what's actually going on. You could guess how the system is picking up, one thing to the other. But if you have the actual rule, you can go into the rule, you can adjust the rule, you can make the rule exactly what you need it to be. So that's going to be it for now. Let's get out of here.